decided that I will write a fatwa saying that it is fighting Hussein ibn Ali is wajib. You see that at the start he said no. When Ibn Ziyad insisted, he smashes the inkwell on his head. Within 24 hours, when the bags of gold and money and the mal of the dunya was in his possession, what happened to his mind? Iyaka na'budu became worshipping of the mal of the dunya. And he returned and says, I changed my fatwa. I don't write. I write, in fact, you're right, it is wajib to kill Hussein ibn Ali. Another example, if you look at the Bayt al at the time of Karbala, I read in a book that there was 700 million dirham in the Bayt al from the time of Muawiyah, and this money was untouched. In fact, 700 million dinar was collected annually in Kufa. That is a lot of money. 700 million dinar every year was accumulated in the Bayt al-Mal, and this money was not touched. Do you know when this money was withdrawn? This money was withdrawn. Every single penny of this money was withdrawn and spent on the soldiers of Ibn Ziyad, on the soldiers of Umar ibn Sa'ad, for the killing of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Are we worshipping Allah, or are we worshipping our desires? Is a question. We are only here for a few years in this, if we are fortunate, in this world. We need to get our priorities right. Whether we like what I say or not, I'm not here to be liked. I am here to tell the truth. I am here to convey the teachings of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, whether we like it, whether we can digest it or not. Seriously, because I will be questioned on the Day of Judgment. And I appeal to the fathers and the mothers of this community. That is so important to have a close relationship with your children. For if we don't have this relationship, we will lose our children in this dunya and we will destroy ourselves. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم لك الحمد بديع السماوات والأرض ذا الجلال والإكرام رب الأرباب وإله كل مالوح وخالق كل مخلوق ووارث كل شيء ليس كمثله شيء وهو بكل شيء محيط. أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت الأحد المتوحد الفرد المتفرد، وأنت الله لا إله إلا أنت الكريم المتكرم العظيم. والصلاة والسلام على محمد النبي الرحمة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سيد المرسلين وعلي بن أبي طالب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سيد الوصيين وفاطمة الزهراء. العالمين وحسن المجتبى. On the occasion of this great Eid al-Zahra, I deliberately take a pause after reciting the names of the Ma'sumin so that we can all recite Allah's salawat. والحسين الشهيد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. وارث أمير المؤمنين وعلي بن الحسين زين العابدين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد فرجهم. علم الأولين والآخرين وجعفر بن محمد الصادق. صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. الصادق الصديقين والمقتدي بأعضائه الصالحين وموسى بن جعفر الباقر. صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. من أولاد النبيين وعلي بن موسى الرضا. صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. وعترة بررة المتقين ومحمد بن علي الجواد. صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. ولي المؤمنين وعلي بن محمد السراج المنير. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. إمام الخاشعين والحسن بن علي. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. سيد الأوصياء المنتجبين والخلف القائم المهدي. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آله في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا ومعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على العلوم والفضل. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. ثالث علم المعنيين من الوسيين الذي ببقائه بقية الدنيا وبيمنه رزق الوراح وبجوره وفرت الأرض والسماء وبه يملأ الله الأرض قسطا وعدلا كما ملئت ظلما وجورا. وعجل لنا اللهم ظهوره إنهم يرونه بعيدا ونراه قريبا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم افتح لي أبواب توبتك ورحمتك ورزقك الواسع. إني إليك من الراغبين وأتمم لي إنعامك إنك خير المنعمين. اللهم اجعل بقية عمري في أعداء فرض الجمعات والحج والعمرة ابتغاء وجهك يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. I'd like to begin the second khutbah by reminding everybody of the arrest of the General Secretary of the Al-Wifaq Party of Bahrain, a very prominent Shia leader. I had the great pleasure and honour of attending his lectures on Friday, as well as praying behind him on the Friday. Sheikh Ali Salman of Bahrain. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his release, as well as the release of Sheikh Nimr in Saudi Arabia and the release of the political prisoners around the world, be that in Palestine, be it in Saudi Arabia or Bahrain. Another thing that I need to remind everybody as well is shedding masala, which is causing a bit of a problem. I've also had this issue as well, and I'm working on this. I've tried my best as well, but it's important that we follow certain things in our deen which will help us and help other people as well. And that is that when you are performing the ruku or sajda, if you are wearing trousers which are loose-fitting, there could arise a problem that when you go into sajda or ruku, that your supper, your private parts would become exposed. in the event when other people are with you, this can be, even if you're praying alone, this can become problematic, because one of the conditions of the prayer is that you cover yourself. It's very, very important. And there have been some complaints that some of us who wear trousers, when we go into ruku and sujood, we are exposing parts of our bodies, and as a result it is causing disturbance to the khudu and khushu of the prayers of the mu'mineen. So I request again, can we please pull up our trousers when we stand in the row. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alihi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. And in fact, every Thursday, mashallah, we had a great turnout on Thursday nights. And it's so great to hear the small children reciting loud salawat, louder than some of the adults, mashallah. And it's so great that we attend this gathering. There's a 5-minute lecture, 5 minutes on Quran and its translation. Dua Imam is a nice niyaz. Niyaz is the niyaz of the Imam, not anyone's individual niyaz. So sometimes we have this kind of mindset that I will only attend because such and such person has sponsored the niyaz. Astaghfirullah. What have we become? What have we become? That we only attend the program because somebody is sponsored the niyaz. We don't attend the program because we want to develop ourselves intellectually or spiritually. We don't want to attend for the barakah of the house of the Imam. You know, when you leave your house, and I've said this many times, and I repeat this because I'm sure people forget this. When you leave your house and come to Bayt al Qaim or Hussein Islamic Mission or wherever you go, you should make dua. When you make dua, Allah inshallah will accept your du'as. Bihaqqi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Make dua for your marhumeen. On this day, give sadaqah in the name of Imam Zamana Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajah Sharif. Give sadaqah in the names of your marhumeen for Allah to be merciful upon them as well. So these are opportunities that we shouldn't miss on this day. Now you might ask that in the first khutbah I mentioned that we should be muttaqi and pious, and we say Iyyaka na'budu, we should worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not worship the dunya and the mal of the dunya, that we're working around the clock, that we don't have time for our children, family or Allah. So how do I become pious? It's a question, and I'd like to give some practical advice in the second khutbah. Allah sallallahu ala Muhammad wa Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. So how do I reach the state of piety? How do I reach the state of piety when I have so many distractions which takes me from the Salat al-Mustaqim? It's a question. Let me give you an example. Some students who were studying in Iran, before they left Iran to study in America or Europe, they went to see Ayatollah Khamenei, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect him. And they asked for his advice. And listen to his advice, beautiful advice. He says that in that part of the world there are more reminders of sin. In this part of the world we live in, there are reminders of sin on the TV, in the supermarkets, on the streets, everywhere. We are surrounded by the reminders of sin, of guna. He says, I advise you to increase the reminders of Allah. If you didn't pray your nawafil here in Iran, you must pray your nawafil in the UK or America or Canada or wherever you are going for tabligh or for your studies. So his advice is that we live in a country which is, and we are surrounded by reminders of guna, of sin. So we should remind ourselves of Allah even more. That's the first thing. Another advice is that in our schedule every day we should set aside some time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should set time aside in our day for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do we have time for breakfast? Do we have time for the evening meal? We have time for children? We have time for colleagues when we attend a meal after work? We have a time for meetings? We have time for mu'mineen? Where is Allah on the list of our schedule? Where is Allah? I ask the question, I ask myself, where is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this list? The one who gave you and I life. The one who says that I gave you so much barakah. The one who says, I blessed you so much. The one who says that you can't count my blessings. The one who says that if you turn to me and knock on my door of repentance, I will forgive all of your sins. And yet Allah Azza wa Jalla is not on our list of priorities. So the second advice to reach a state of taqwa is to make time, set some time aside for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We spend from 9 till 5 in the office. We can spend 1 hour in the gym pumping iron and doing bench presses. We spend 150 times a day looking at our mobile phone. We spend 1 hour eating food. Some of us might spend 3 hours eating food, depending on your appetite. Now, if I compare this to a lifetime, if you were to live till the age of 80, if you were fortunate to live till the age of 80, let me put this in perspective. Let me give you how much time we spend in a lifetime. In a lifetime, research suggests that we spend 25 years sleeping. 25 years of our life sleeping. We spend 1.5 years in the bathroom. And this is a fact, that men spend more time in the bathroom than women. A fact. Men spend more time in the bathroom than women. And my advice is that it's it's a feeling of makruh as well. It affects your memory, and it's not good to spend too much time in the bathroom as well. So what a bathroom is, you do your business and you need to leave quickly. It's also must have to cover your head. It's also must have to cover your mouth and your nose, so that no bad smells affects your mind, your state of mind, and your memory. We spend 1.5 years in the bathroom. Would you believe that? Women spend 8 years shopping in a lifetime. 8 years. Because the sisters are probably thinking, mashallah, Maulana has mentioned something which supports us and against the men. So I obviously, being a man, it's my human nature to support the men as well. And I'm giving this example that women spend a staggering 8 years of their life shopping. And we spend if you work 40-hour shifts a week, you spend an average of 10.3 years of your life working. How much time do we have for religion? How much time do we have for learning Quran? How many of us have made a New Year's resolution that from this year we will enroll ourselves on either a distance learning course or an evening course at Bradford College, for example, to study the level 2 Arabic so that I can understand what Allah is trying to say to me? Not in English or Urdu, in the pure language of Arabic. How many of us have made a resolution this year and said, we will certainly try our best to come to the program on Thursday, to go to the Mehfil of Ilm. Only recently, Alama Mushtaq Shahidi was reciting Majlis. I didn't even know about it. And I looked, there's a video on YouTube, that set about 12, 13, 14 people sat down. We should make resolution that Allah gives us tawfiq to sit in the Mehfil of Ilm. And how much time do we spend for learning this religion? How much time do we have for Allah? How much time do we have for sajda? How much time do we have for learning Quran? How much time do we have to share a hadith with my Mormon brother? Or with my son or my daughter? How much time do I spend? MashaAllah, I feel so proud. Maulana feels so proud that he comes to Bayt al Qaim once in a week. Once a week. That's shameful. We all attend one program a week. What's that as a fraction? Can somebody tell me? What's that as a fraction? 1/7. A seventh. What's a seventh as a decimal? Can somebody tell me a percentage? 0.7%. Right. Okay. 0.07. Nice. And we expect that Allah forgive our sins, forgive the sins of our Maulana, to have mercy upon us, to solve our mushakil and our problems. And we spend 0.07% in this center. So therefore we have to ask the question, how else can I spend my time in the 7 days with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Inshallah, my message today is that we all go home and we make a part in our house where we set our musalla and an area in the house where we can have a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not once a week, but 7 days a week. Every single day until Malak al-Maut descends from the heaven and takes yours and my soul from this world. Because the only thing that will save us in our grave, because this dunya, mashallah, it's my brother-in-law's brother passed away, already he's chilling today. Already chilling, and I think it feels as if it was yesterday. It felt as if it was yesterday. The dunya, my dear brothers and sisters, will carry on. The dunya will carry on. You will be fortunate that when you die that you are given a coffin. We will be fortunate if somebody carries our body and takes it to the grave. We would be even more fortunate if somebody places their hand in the soil and recites Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We would be even fortunate if our children recite Surah Al-Fatiha for us. But then after reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, everybody goes to work the following Monday. Yes or no? The dunya continues, will carry on. Then it's you, the grave, or it's you, the angels of punishment, or it's you, or your amal in the grave. Whether that is your tears that you shed for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, whether it was the tears you shed for Fatima al-Zahra, whether it was your prayers that you used to pray on time, whether it was the du'as and the munajat that you recited, all of these will help us in our grave. Whether it was the respect that we had for the deputies of the Imam of our time, the Maraji, all of this will help us in our grave. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this occasion, this blessed day, in this month of Rabiul Awwal. And I also remind you that this month, on this week as well, Ayatollah Khomeini rahmatullah alayh declared this week as the Muslim Week of Unity. Some celebrate on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal, we on the 17th of Rabiul Awwal. So he said from the 9th to the 17th, we declare this the week of unity of our Prophet Muhammad Mustafa.